Good morning. For those of you who don't know, my name is Mielle. I run a fashion blog called Classically Kept. It does feature luxury, contemporary, and how to style and now natural hair care. So for those of you who are interested, please consider subscribing to my channel. Click the notification bell. That way you will never miss a video. So today we are going to talk about a subject that has actually made national news. I am excited because I'm not someone who typically follows up or keeps up with trends, but I was able to jump on this bandwagon. So Mielle Organics, as of January 11th, 2023, has been acquired by P&G, Proctor and Gamble. Let's talk about it. Okay, so first, I just kind of want to get into how this video is going to go. So first, we are going to get into some definitions just to make sure we understand what we're talking about. Then we will talk about or discuss the CEO's response to the acquisition. Then we will talk about a situation that is ablaze on TikTok. And then we will get into some what I think are going to be the main concerns of this acquisition. So as I said before, let's go ahead and dive into the definitions. If this is your area of expertise, please correct me if I'm wrong. I want to make sure that I am correct in what I am saying. So let's talk about the difference between an acquisition and a merge. When you have a company acquire or basically acquire, it's going to be a larger company acquiring a smaller company. However, they're going to act as an independent subsidiary. Case in point, Shea Moisture was acquired by a bigger company. Main Choice was acquired by a bigger company. Cantu was acquired by a bigger company. And then Carol's Daughter was acquired by a bigger company. So it's just a larger company acquiring another company or a smaller company, and then they will act as an independent subsidiary. When two companies merge, it's basically those two companies merging together to form one company. So an example, let's say you have B's Barbecue and then you have T's Barbecue. They merge, they then form a company called BT's Barbecue. Okay, so as of January 11th, 2023, as you heard me state earlier, P&G, Procter and Gamble, has acquired Mielle Organics. Okay, so now let's talk about, if you don't know, Mielle Organics was founded by a husband and wife team. The CEO is Monique Rodriguez, and then her husband is COO. So when the acquisition was announced, TikTok, Instagram, just all the social media was ablaze. I mean, this made national news. It was on the news, and we will get into that. She made a statement about the acquisition. I'm going to play it for you so we can just kind of discuss it, because in the video, in her statement, which I'm pretty sure was PR approved, she talks about some very important, I guess, concerns that the Black community has. All right. And we will get into the concerns a little bit later on in the video, but I just kind of want to point out the things that she said. Okay, so I'm going to let you listen to the video. It is not the whole thing. I'm going to play the part that I think is the most important for this video, and then if you want, you can get on Instagram and listen to the rest of it. So I will go ahead and play that now.
First and foremost, I want to give God all the honor and glory. It is with great joy and excitement that I announce that Mielle has joined forces with P&G Beauty. I am so excited to continue furthering the mission and vision of Mielle, and that is to serve the underserved with high quality, innovative products. I have created this brand due to limited access to quality products for and in our community. My goal was to not only change that narrative, but to make sure that Black women globally are able to access products that meets their needs. To join forces with a strategic partner to expand my brand globally has always been a dream of mine, and it has finally come true. I selected P&G because they believed in my vision, and they also support the passion that Melvin and I have for our community. And I also love how they have such diversity in their executive leadership team, in which you will see in the next slide. Those were some of the people who were behind the scenes who helped orchestrate this alliance. The science, technology, access to African American chemists was super impressive, and that also allows me to serve my customers with nothing but the best, which I have always committed to you guys. We have no plans to change the formulas, and we will still continue to innovate and formulate as we always have. But now it's with even better resources. Now, you guys know I have always operated with integrity and transparency, and that will not change. that is who I am. Melvin and I will still continue to remain CEO and COO of Mielle. Mielle will still remain Black-led, and Mielle will operate as an independent subsidiary, and we continue to provide opportunities for Black leadership in our company as we always have. I feel that every Black entrepreneur should be able to scale and have access to opportunities to grow and expand their business like any other culture without being labeled a sellout, because this is not a sellout. This is a sell up. This is a level up. This is called growth for our community. When we have more, we can do more to give back and uplift our community. When we create businesses in the community and allow them to grow and scale and not feel bad or ashamed, it's about a win for our community when businesses have the opportunity to grow and expand. As I said, this has always been a dream of mine, and I am truly thankful and grateful to be in this position to join forces with P&G Beauty.
Okay, so there are a couple of points that I do want to touch on. In the video, she talked about how her goal for Mielle Organics was always to take it globally, or she wanted to have a huge market. That I understand. When you are a business owner, that is always going to be one of your goals, is to make more money. Of course, you are a business at the end of the day, but also to make sure that you are, getting into different markets, getting into different communities, and just making sure that your customer base is as large as it can be with the products that you are providing, okay? So that I understand. And the very fact that she put that in her statement, and it also said that in all of the articles that I read, that means that from day one, she had no intentions of her company being kind of like a mom and pop, or just kind of like a house brand. Typically, what you will find with a lot of these hair care companies, especially when they are Black owned, is that it starts in their kitchen, but also it is started because they have found a need in the community, or they have found a need in that, I guess you could say, space. A lot of these companies start in their kitchen because when they go to Target, when they go to Walmart, when they go to the hair salon, they're not able to find products that they feel as though speak to or help their hair, okay? So that I completely understand. As a business owner myself, and my husband owns his own company as well, that is something that is going to forever be at the forefront of an entrepreneur or a business owner. You are always going to be looking for more profit. You are always going to be looking for new and emerging markets, okay? The next thing is that they will stay the head of Mielle Organics. Earlier, when you heard me talking about the definition, they are going to be acquired, not necessarily they're just going to become P&G. They're going to be an independent subsidiary. So it's going to remain, and I think this is what one of the arguments is going to be. Even though they are going to remain the head of Mielle, a lot of people are arguing Black owned versus Black led. Because here's the truth of the matter. When you are acquired by a company, like Proctor and Gamble or like P&G, what they were acquired for and how much is undisclosed. So I would just go ahead and say this. Let's say, for instance, this is an example. I am not stating that this is what they were paid. Let's say that within their contracts, they have agreed that P&G is going to acquire Mielle Organics and they're going to be paid $100 million. With that type of money, I understand that the company is still going to be Black led. Let's make sure that we are clear about this. Mielle Organics is no longer Black owned. It will be Black led. But like I said, let's give my example of $100 million. P&G is going to give Mielle Organics $100 million. With that type of money, P&G is going to have some type of say, whether it be products, we will get into that, whether it be marketing, whether it be your decisions, or where it be, where the products are going to be sold. So with you still leading Mielle, I understand that. But at the end of the day, who is really going to be making the decisions, okay? The next one, which we will touch on this in concerns, the products. Is the consistency going to stay the same? Are the products going to stay the same? We will get into that towards the end of the video, but I think that is probably the number one concern for a lot of people, especially for people who have been using Mielle Organics for years and it is a staple in their hair regimen, okay? The next statement that I want to kind of point out, which I understand and I appreciate, What they said, or what she said in her video, was that they chose P&G. I'm pretty sure there were many other companies vying to acquire with Mielle Organics. But what they said is that they really appreciated the diversity in the room, whether it was, I guess you could say, customer service, whether it was marketing, whether it was PR, whether it was chemists. One of the things that she said, and I think like the next slide or her next post was showing the diversity, or how many, I guess you could say, POC or Black people were actually working at Proctor and Gamble. But what she pointed out is that she actually appreciated the access, or how many Black chemists P&G actually have. Okay, those are just a couple of things that I do want to point out. Now let's kind of get into the concerns of what this acquisition means. Okay, now let's talk about some of the concerns that I think people are having, or the struggle that people are having with this acquisition. So the very first thing is going to be product availability, and I will explain what I mean by that. But we first have to talk about this situation that happened on TikTok. I am not a part of TikTok, but like I said, this made national news, and it has now come over to Instagram, and it has now come over to YouTube. So on December 29th of 2022, a white TikToker by the name of Alex Earl, I think at this point she has millions upon millions upon millions of followers. But on December 29th, she posted a video of like her favorite products from Amazon, or her favorite products of 2022. And the Mielle Organics rosemary oil that people have been raving about made her list. We all know that the consistency of that is made for more of a thicker, coarser, curlier hair type. You follow what I'm saying, right? The issue with that is that video, I was reading an article from January 12th, because I've been reading a couple of articles to prepare for this video. That video, as of January 12th, when that particular article was published, that video has 5 million views, 500,000 likes, and it has thousands upon thousands upon thousands of comments. The problem with the video, of course, the Black women on TikTok started, this rampage on this woman about, how dare you, that product is not made for you. Now that you've talked about it, your followers are going to buy it out. It's not going to be available for me. It is, as a matter of fact, it is still going on. As you heard me say, this made national news. And while that was going on Twitter, people started posting, going to my local Target, going to my local Walmart, going to my local CVS. And this oil, for on Mielle Organics website, their own website, their e-tail website, apparently this oil is very, very, very now hard to get. I will confess, I did buy 2 bottles via Amazon, but I bought them way before this TikToker posted this, and way before the acquisition. So I have them. I'm going to be implementing it into my hair care regimen for 2023. I don't know how readily available it is going to be now, but I wanted to give you that story, because when I say product availability, I'm talking about there are Black women who are worried. They're claiming that even prior to this white woman, talking about this product, because of where they live, they already are having to drive 45 minutes, an hour away, just to even get the products that work for their hair. The concern that I think Black women are having is that, which we'll get into the next point, which I think is going to be, which is the biggest concern, is that now that Mielle has been acquired, where are these products going to show up? Where are these products demographically, where are these products going to show up? Are we going to see less and less of it because they're trying to get into new markets and they're trying to market it to that group? When I say product availability, I'm talking about how readily available is it going to be, I guess you could say, for the Black community when it comes to curly and natural hair. All right. Now, let's get into what I think is the number one concern, and it's going to be the number one struggle for this acquisition. We all know that typically when it comes to Black-led, Black-owned, started hair care companies, when they get acquired, the consistency and the ingredients and their products change. I can give you 2 examples. The first one is Carol's Daughter. I can't really speak for that. I tried I think it is the hair milk when it first came out. It did nothing for my hair. It smelled absolutely beautiful, but it sat on my hair. But there are reports that when Carol's daughter was acquired by a larger company, I believe it was L'Oreal, there are reports that the actual products and the ingredients did change. One that I can attest to is Shea Moisture. They have been acquired by a larger company as well. They are no longer Black owned. I have always used, since my mother and I have started using Shea Moisture, I have always used the Curl Enhancing Smoothie. My mother found that to be a little too heavy for her hair, so she actually switched over to the Curl Souffle. I have never liked that, but that product had been a staple in her hair regimen for years. Shea Moisture was acquired. She, just like I'm pretty sure hundreds of thousands of other women, noticed it. They wrote into Shea Moisture. I think that made the news as well. Or I think it got, very high up to the higher ups. I don't know if they ever changed the product back, but my mother did notice a difference, so much so that she no longer uses it. As far as Mielle Organics, I can speak to only 3 products and really only 2 at this time. So as far as Mielle, their hair care, it's not going to affect me personally because I do not use their products. But let's say, for instance, I try a new hair brand or I try something that I'm already using, which I believe right now I am using Curls, the Blueberry Bliss collection. I have not seen a change in that. I do not know whether or not Curls has been acquired, if that is a goal of the owner of the company, or if it will ever be acquired. But Mielle Organics acquisition doesn't affect me personally, but it does affect the community as a whole, because if Curls gets acquired, are they then going to follow the same model and have their products changed? So the very first one is the Rosemary, and I chose the Rosemary collection under Mielle because there is scientific evidence that there are great benefits as far as rosemary goes for your hair. So I chose that collection. I tried the Rosemary shampoo. Y'all know that if y'all saw my video about the products that I have changed for 2022 and 2023, I will link that down below, was the shampoo. For me, it completely dried my hair out. Then I also tried I think it was either the moisturizer or the styling cream. It did the exact same thing. It dried my hair out. So those 2 products are no longer a part of my hair care regimen. They might work for somebody else. So that's why I'm saying, as far as Mielle for a whole does not affect me personally, but that effect has seemed to trickle down whenever these particular companies are acquired, okay? If you look on TikTok and if you look on Instagram, especially below the statement that I just showed you, you will see comments. I would probably say a good 90% of the comments are talking about the ingredients, the consistency, and whether or not their products are going to change. Because the truth of the matter is that if they are trying to get into another community, another market, they are going to have to change their products, because the products now are just simply too heavy for 1A, 1B, and 1C hair. It's just too heavy. And if that is a client or community that they are trying to sell to, the products are going to have to change. But this is what I do not understand about smaller companies when they are acquired. And again, if you read these contracts, if you are a lawyer, please correct me if I am wrong. But one of the things that I have never really understood about these acquisitions is that companies who are smaller get acquired by larger companies for more access, more research, more technology, more, mass releases and things like that. They do it because they have better and larger resources. I've never really understood why they can't keep the original and then maybe tweak it or water it down when they're trying to go into another market. I will give you an example. Coke. Coke has, from my knowledge, has never really touched their original Coke. They came out with Diet, right? For somebody who might have some dietary restrictions. And then they also came out with Coke Zero. I believe that's no sugar. So for a diabetic who needs to get their Coke fix, they can still get it. They always kept the original Coke. Then they came out with Diet, and then they said, hey, we need to get into another market, or we've had people write in who are diabetic who love Coke but can no longer consume it. Okay, well, let's go ahead and make Coke Zero. Right there, you have 3 products. You have your original, you have your Diet, and then for your, diabetic heads or Diet Coke heads, I'm saying this wrong, but you know what I'm saying. You have your 3 products, but you never touched, you never altered, and you never changed the original products. So when these smaller companies are acquired, I've never really understood why they can't do the curl enhancing smoothie or the curl souffle, keep the original, and then when you get into those other markets, why you can't make, curl enhancing smoothie 2.0 or curl souffle light. I've never understood that. If you know, please answer that in the comments, because I've never understood that. Also, when it comes to acquisitions and when it comes to mergers, I can give you an example for Shea Moisture. You will notice that when these companies are acquired, you will notice that, like I said, the products change. You will notice that their placement at the store changes. When I used to go into Target for Shea Moisture, it used to just still be in the ethnic aisle. Now, when you go in there, they have fully done away with kind of like the ethnic, and they're marketing their company now as for all hair types, for all women, not just women of color. So much so that Shea Moisture came out with a commercial that had no women of color. It was all white women, and they were talking about, how their company or how their hair care products can be beneficial to them as well. And I think the struggle with that is, or I think the issue with that is that Black women, and if you are a Black man, if you're watching this and you do have natural hair, or if you use natural products, I think the Black community feels like they're kind of being forgotten. I think, people at this point are kind of feeling like, we build these companies up only for them to be acquired, and then we are just kind of left by the wayside. Speculation. So I brought that story up about the white TikToker because, there's always going to be speculation. There's always going to be, a theory, a conspiracy theory. I brought it up because some people are saying that they find it very, coincidental that this white TikToker on December 29th posted about the product, and then on January 11th of 2023, it has now been announced that, Mielle Organics has been acquired by P&G. It does sound, a little fishy. If you don't know, or if you don't follow any content creators, there are actual rules in place now with the FTC that if a content creator or someone like a makeup artist or someone is actually having a collaboration or is being paid by a brand to do some marketing for them, that they actually have to list that in their copy, or AKA their caption. You actually have to list that. It is against the law to not divulge that to your community. Apparently there was no, pound ad, pound Mielle Organics partner, pound, because it has to be clearly stated in your caption that, hey, this is an ad. I'm trying to sell you this, right? There was no mention of that in her caption. Sometimes people, there are people running around doing illegal things all day long. But what I'm saying is that FTC wise, if you're trying to be above board with especially when you're working with above board or content creators that follow the law, it needs to be posted. From my knowledge, that was not posted under this girl's video, so it probably really was genuine. However, there are people who are speculating that this whole frenzy was done on purpose. That way that by the time Mielle Organics had already been announced that it was acquired, that they already had a new customer base. They already had a new market. They were already marketing to a new community. She was able, because like I said, this woman has millions of followers. So she was able to put that product in front of new people. Case in point, the Black women that we're talking about going to Target, going to Walmart, going to CVS, going on the Mielle Organics website, its own retail store, and they cannot buy the product. There are people who are saying that it was done on purpose. We can't speak to that because we don't know, but I just want to put that out there because very coincidentally, 11, 12 days later, all of a sudden, it has been announced that Mielle Organics was acquired by P&G. Okay, so my thoughts on this whole situation, just a couple of things. Number one, as you heard me state in the beginning, Mielle Organics at the end of the day is a business. And as I've said, from her video, from her statement, and from all of the articles that I have read and just the readings and the social media about this, From day one, her intention was to make it a global brand. She had no intentions of keeping it a small brand. And in order for her to do that, she would have had to have been acquired at some time. So, and as I said, as a business owner, I fully understand where she is coming from. But at the same time, I also understand where her customers are coming from. As you heard me say, or as you heard me give the Coke analogy, maybe try to keep your core customers and then branch out. The next thing is that it doesn't affect me personally because I don't use Mielle Organics religiously. So it doesn't affect me personally, but it can have a trickle down effect. So I am kind of wondering, while all of these companies are being acquired, what is that to say about the actual products that are going to be produced? Okay. The next thing that I kind of want to say is, the products, not for me, but just for the women who have been supporting and using Mielle religiously. I hope for their sake and just for the health of their hair, because if they're using it religiously, clearly it is working for them. I just hope that for them, they do stick to their word and they do not change the products. I mean, that really is the gist of what people are so mad and really PO'd about. They really do not want something that they have enjoyed using and that is working for their hair. They really do not want it to change. The last thing that I kind of want to say is P&G, Unilever, L'Oreal, Johnson & Johnson, they are all these huge conglomerates. They are all like these huge parent company. L'Oreal is right here. They have so many companies that they have acquired. I guess my next question would be, or I guess my challenge for the Black community or people of color would be is, why can't we come together and make a company like that? That way, that when we do have a company like Mielle who is trying to be acquired or who is trying to take their brand to the next level, who is trying to go global, they have that Black company right here, and then they can just start acquiring other companies to help them get to where we are. And I get it. I understand where it comes from. I understand the issues, and I understand, all the setbacks that, as a community, Black people have had. But at this point, there are enough Black millionaires, billionaires, hundredaires, thousandaires that we should be able to come together and make that company. That way, when a company like Mielle is looking to acquire, there should be no question. They can say, hey, we're aware of this company. We'll go with this company and let's go ahead, and level up our company. And as I've said in hair videos prior to this, we just can't we just can't make it an excuse anymore. We're past that. We've talked about slavery, we've talked about Jim Crow, we've talked about civil rights. We're past all of that in a sense. I'm not saying that it's fully cured. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that we have the resources now to have our own company like P&G, like Unilever. And I think that it's time for us to actually just come together, sit at our own table and figure out how to do that. I know, trust me, I know it is way, way, way easier said than done, but I truly believe that it is doable, okay? Let me know what you think about the Mielle Organics acquisition in the comments. I just want to let you know that here on YouTube, I do upload videos on Wednesday and Sunday. Right here, I'll put my Instagram handle. Thank you so much for hanging out with me, you guys. Bye.